Hello, my name is Scott Power. I'm the director of the Hampshire Scholars Initiative. It's a program that encourages students to go above and beyond high school graduation requirements. Today we're here with 3 guests to talk about a program that's nearing statewide status here in New Hampshire to encourage students to challenge themselves in high school, to go above and beyond high school graduation requirements so they're better prepared for college and career. I welcome our 3 guests today. Taylor Wallace, a junior from Bedford High School, will be on track as a New Hampshire Scholar next year. And Diane Raymond, Dean of Admissions from New England College in Henniker, New Hampshire. And Bill Cummings, a financial advisor at Cummings Financial in Bedford and a business partner at Merrimack High School. So welcome, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having us.
So to get us started, we're going to take a look at the New Hampshire Scholars Program right now.
We know that when students go off to college, we need them to be better prepared than they sometimes are. And the best preparation is for them to challenge themselves, or for their high schools to challenge them while they're in high school, building up their competencies and their skill sets for when they arrive on college campuses.
There are no longer really jobs at our company that are strictly clerical. Just about every position in the company requires analytical and communication skills.
And it's not the same as in maybe the past where there's long apprenticeships or time spent on the job. We really expect people to come out and be able to add value immediately.
What's going to set you apart from those other students applying to schools, applying to jobs? There's a lot of really solid students out there, but what's setting you apart? The transcript is going to be the ticket. That is still the #1 thing when you're looking at colleges that they're going to judge you on.
You can have a high GPA taking very easy courses. It's really, I would rather see, and I think most educators would rather see, somebody with a B in a very hard course than an A in an easy course. And trust me, admissions officers know how to read transcripts.
New Hampshire Scholars is really a program around core curriculum. So it focuses on math, science, lab-based sciences, but also 4 years of English.
And what's nice about the Scholars Program, the Hampshire Scholars Program, is the way that we bring the business community into the discussion with the academic community. And it really serves to support that dual structure.
Businesses are a key essential part of it. I think, obviously this State Scholar Initiative came about because there was a need.
The businesses in the community that we become involved with, or that students get involved with, really help us teach the students a lot of responsibility. They can help us increase our attendance because we can relate work hours to school hours, and how are those the same, and why is it important to be in school just the same as it's important to be at a job.
So we do this in a lot of different ways, whether it's providing internships for local kids, whether it's going and speaking at their schools, or whether it's just trying to pick a few and mentoring them and getting them exposure to what real work life is about.
When a student is mentored by a business leader, they can see, and here's the key point, they can see the relevance for what they're doing. Many people aren't going to be designing bridges, I understand that, and so they don't necessarily know why they're taking geometry, for example.
And the ability for the students to learn from somebody who might have had to have a real life problem in science or math and say, hey, this is important to us in work, is really helpful for them to stick with the project, to spend time really understanding the situation. And I think they start to realize that, hey, I might be able to use this in my career or in real life.
I got an opportunity over the summer where I'm going into nursing, and I got to actually work with some nurses in a healthcare facility.
Mentoring is the key, I think, to success in life.
Definitely when I was working with the nurses that I worked with, I felt like a lot of the classes that I had taken, they had a lot of relevancy to what we were doing there. And then it also helped too because a lot of the nurses, they had to communicate in ways that we learn in school.
Part of this is also inspiration as well. We need students to understand and hear from the business community what they expect and to hold out the promise of what is possible when they're well educated. We are well past the day when simply having a high school degree could provide a source of a good living for one in one's family. We just know the data doesn't support that any longer.
And we also know from studies that 70% of our student population would have, in fact, taken more rigorous courses had they had a mentor to tell them that that was important.
We're preparing students for jobs that don't exist yet. So how do you prepare for that? You focus on the core.
I just feel like that I've taken that extra year of honors or that extra year of, a science or whatever, that it just puts me like a little higher up in the application process.
So when we look at our high schools today, if you're a high school and you're not a New Hampshire State Scholar School, the question is why? Why would you not want to have this program in place? Why would you not want to have your students engaged in a rigorous, challenging core course of study? We know this course of study is the basis for success, and we're all invested in student success. So my hope is that every New Hampshire high school will become a New Hampshire State Scholar School.
I think it means a lot to the students to be recognized at the end, that even though they might not get different awards and honors provided by the school, they do get recognized at the state level, at the State House at the end of the year, and they get to add that as part of their resumes and all that sort of stuff, that they're a New Hampshire State Scholar and they've chosen a tough course load while they're here with us, and they've done well and prepared themselves for the work and college fields.
Oh, I definitely feel more prepared for college after taking all the courses that I've taken here.
It's hard to ensure that they're college ready. We want to make sure that they have the best foundation here as they leave us, and as they graduate in June, we want to know that they're going to be successful as they go on with whatever they choose.
So I think celebrating New Hampshire State Scholars with that message not only attacks the message, but really prepares kids for life after high school.
We're looking to hire New Hampshire scholars, and we think that our future lies in that program.
One of the unique aspects of the New Hampshire Scholars Initiative is the business education partnerships. And the idea that students take more rigorous courses to better prepare themselves for college and career isn't a new concept. It's one that teachers and guidance counselors are talking to students all the time. But sometimes students have trouble understanding the relevance between academics and the business world. So I'm going to start with you, Bill. Students enjoy hearing from business people. Why is the practice of business leaders mentoring students so important?
Well, I think from the student standpoint, they really need to know what's going to be required on the job. I mean, how else will they know? When someone takes the time to come in and talk to them, either in a workshop or one-on-one or a job shadow, being able to explain how what they're learning at school is going to be applicable in the workplace is absolutely vital, and I think just a skill students need to have.
Great. So Taylor, talk a little bit, you were involved in an internship this year.
Yep.
Can you describe a little bit how this helped you, and was it clearer to the connection of academics in the business world, and could you see the relevance that Bill was talking about?
Yeah, my internship was at Rock 101, the radio station in Manchester, and it gave me a great opportunity to see what business is really like. It did give me the connection because I've taken a lot of business classes. It helped me communication-wise, my communication skills, teamwork skills. It really gave me the ability, or it taught me how to ask questions, how to get along with your coworkers and your boss and things like that, that you learn in school. Like, you learn computer skills, and that just helps you so much more at the job site, where you can actually take what you learned in school, and while you might not think it's going to help you in life, it really does a lot down along the road.
Great, excellent. So the requirements to graduate as a New Hampshire Scholar really align with college admission expectations as well, and as well as the skills that are needed in business and industry. And it's important for students to see that connection between core courses in high school and potential success in college level courses. So Diane, can you talk a little bit about the high school transcript, and it's still the #1 piece in the application process?
It truly is. When we look at a college transcript, it's an indicator of how successful a student will be. Not just the standardized testing. A transcript is showing progress, success, where students are successful or even struggling. And I think, to me and many of my colleagues, we're looking at these transcripts, and especially with the New Hampshire Scholars, seeing a solid foundation of core competence. That truly is going to really set a student for success. And that's what we're looking at this point. All of us in New Hampshire are very supportive of this program.
Excellent. And can you talk a little bit about, those core courses? Why is it so important for a student to challenge themselves in high school?
Oh, absolutely. When you think about students could take a certain level course and just get by, but when you think about going into a technical college or even going to a four-year university, we really need to see students prepared. And our goal is to really make sure that our students are successful. So having a more rigorous academic background from high school is preparing our students for taking the college level course and being successful, and the great outcomes of doing internships with businesses.
That's great. So, talking a little bit more about the business perspective, we saw in the video some business leaders, a variety of different ways that they might get involved, and the importance for students to hear from the business community. Bill, can you talk a little bit about, some of the different ways a business leader might get involved in their local school?
Absolutely. When we first started the program in Merrimack, we had no idea how this was going to work, and it's just sort of evolved over the years. I think probably the last real impact we had was we did a presentation in front of the Chamber of Commerce, and really getting the business people involved, because you see a lot of, as we're talking about it, they're nodding their heads, saying, yes, I agree. They're potential employers for these kids in high school, and they just really were very attracted to the program, really feel they feel some sense of ownership now in the program, and in that they can be present at a workshop, they could set up a job shadow, some type of mentoring program. We've even had a business underwrite that particular event that the Chamber held. So there are a lot of ways to be involved from a business owner standpoint.
That's great, and we have hundreds and hundreds of business leaders across the state now volunteering their time in our New Hampshire Scholars schools, and we're essentially asking them for their time and expertise versus asking them for money. Some of them will donate scholarships and stuff like that, but it's really giving back, and business leaders have been happy to do that.
Absolutely.
So Diane, we're talking a little bit about the national research, really shows that it's the most powerful predictor for college success really goes back to that high school curriculum and the high school transcript, what courses students are taking. So, and New Hampshire high schools across the state have really embraced this program. It's kind of the words that we hear all the time is it's a no-brainer, to expect more of our students and then to recognize them for it. So why is this message more on a general level? Why is this message so important for students across New Hampshire to hear?
Well, I think the biggest key about this is the key word of empowerment. We really look at this curriculum, and this program is empowering our students to strive more, building up a skill set, and that skill set is critical. So when we think about the branding and we think about marketing of this program and seeing our students' success, I've been doing this for 9 years, Scott. You've invested tremendous amount of energy, and the students that are coming out of this have great insight of what they want to do. To me, that is a key component, and I'm very proud to be associated with this program.
Excellent. So let's get from a student's perspective a little bit. As a high school junior, someone that's on track to graduate as a New Hampshire Scholar next spring, do you feel better prepared for college, having taken the rigorous courses that you've taken thus far?
I feel very prepared. A little nervous and anxious, but it's to be expected for college and everything. But having taken more difficult courses, I feel like I'm up to the challenge to maybe take that more difficult course once I actually get to college, knowing that I can manage my time with community, church, sports, other involvement, and school. Just being able to really manage my time and take those difficult courses along with all those other things I think will help me even more once we get to the next level, college. Yes.
Excellent. So you talked a little bit about kind of those real life requirement, real life expectations and time management and so forth. Bill, can you talk a little bit? We always talk about being college ready and work ready or career ready, and our tagline for New Hampshire Scholars is college ready, work ready, ready for life. Can you talk a little bit about what does it mean for businesses nowadays for a student to be work ready after college? What kind of skills are we looking for?
Well, I think the ability to think and communicate. I think that's probably the biggest thing. I met a professor at MIT recently, and he is involved with a new program very similar in terms of what it's doing as to New Hampshire Scholars. He said, kids come out pretty book smart, but they just have no idea how to apply it. So that's really where the business partnership comes in and really helping the kids understand, you know, there's many ways you can go with this profession, but you know, here's one approach, and here's how to apply what you've learned. Here's why you're taking algebra, geometry, science, and so on.
That's great. So as a New Hampshire Scholar, as you go through middle school through high school, there are some incentives for students, you know, to get that you know, whether it's internships with business leaders or mentoring from business partners, and then there's also, you know, the advantages of applying to college and having some incentives there. So Diane, can you talk a little bit about, you know, how are colleges in New Hampshire really supporting this program?
The colleges in New Hampshire, we've all worked very hard to support students for applying to colleges. We've all committed to fee waivers. It is, you know, very time consuming to apply for college, but we've also waived those fees. Another example, many schools have looked at scholarship incentives. So if you're a New Hampshire Scholar, we're recognizing those students and rewarding you for your hard work. Some of, I believe that UNH has a $1,000 scholarship. New England College has started our scholarship for the New Hampshire Scholars at $12,000. And that is renewable all 4 years. And I think those kind of incentives really shows that we want to keep our students in New Hampshire. We want them to be ready for our workforce and work with different companies like Bill and other industries. So we're really preparing our students to stay here and work hard. Excellent.
Yes, and so our colleges across the state, and UNH Manchester is
Yes.
the Manchester campus. So piggyback on that again from the students' perspectives, when counselors started talking to you about you know, developing a 4-year plan and which courses to take, you know, enrolling in a challenging course of study, was there any hesitation on your part in terms of taking going the next step and going above and beyond graduation requirements?
Yes. Coming out of 8th grade and getting ready for my freshman year, I definitely wasn't sure if I would be able to balance necessarily taking all honors classes or just kind of laying off, just taking it easy, trying to get through. But I mean, there was that kind of thing. There was your parents wanted to see you succeed, so you kind of want to take some good classes. Your counselors were very involved in our 8th grade. They came over and laid out some flow charts and said, if you do this, you can get into these and take these electives senior year and things like that would just really benefit me in the long run, I think. Teacher recommendations too, from 8th grade. If they think you can do it, you're most likely able to do it. They're not going to put you in a class where you're not going to succeed.
Great, excellent. We want to talk a little bit about you know, the college and career readiness piece a little bit more. You know, either Diane or Bill, you know, can talk a little bit about, is there a direct correlation between that challenging coursework in high school and career and workplace readiness? You know, how do those, as you saw in the video, you know, Tom Raffio was talking about, you know, not everyone's going to be building bridges, so they don't understand why they're taking geometry, for example. You know, how do we get students to understand, you know, this is why you're taking math, this is why you're taking science, even if you're going to be a journalism major?
Exactly, and I really believe that, going back to the word of empowerment, when we look at the core curriculum that has been spelt out and really supported by the colleges, it's preparing the students with the critical thinking, the ability to develop skills to learn. No matter what you do, what career you select, you need to have the ability to learn. And wouldn't you agree with that a bit? Critical thinking is critical. Problem solving is important. So that's, I think when you really look at this curriculum, it's preparing the students for the critical thinking, problem solving, skills that you will need for a lifetime no matter what industry you get into.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I wish this was around when I was in high school, because I certainly would have pressed the pedal to the metal. I mean, I dropped physics because I had already gotten accepted to business school and never took physics, so didn't think I needed it. Wish I understood a little bit more about it now, but it's absolutely critical, and I think the more schools, I'm so happy to hear the schools keep signing on and getting involved with this program.
Yeah, so for students and families, you know, essentially the easiest way to become a New Hampshire Scholar is for a student to take the pledge and go to your high school guidance office and say, you know, are we a New Hampshire Scholar school, and which courses should I be taking, leading all the way up from 8th grade all the way through graduation, to challenge myself and you know, which courses are colleges looking for, which courses are going to be, you know, provide me with the ability to gain those skills that workforce is looking for as well. So it's very easy for students to sign on, and for the business community to get involved as well. And you can see all the support that across the state from the colleges and the business leaders that are providing in New Hampshire as we near statewide status for New Hampshire Scholars. So let's talk a little bit about the core courses, what students are really taking. What are we asking them to take? So the core courses that we're talking about is the national model that we adopted here in New Hampshire of 4 years of English, 3 years of math, including Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and Geometry, 3 years of lab-based science, specifically biology, chemistry, and physics, and then 3.5 of social studies, and then 2 years of the same foreign language. So with those core courses, are we better preparing our students once they get to college? Will they be more successful for college level courses, Diane?
Absolutely. When we're looking at student success, and we have a few options, you've heard of the word SATs and all of that, but a high school transcript is going to give us a solid foundation of the student's success. And let's talk a little bit about retention. Reason why we want our students to take this rigorous academic background is preparing them for these college courses so they succeed, so they graduate from college. College is expensive, it's an investment, but well worth it. We've done studies and we've done research knowing that more students that go and earn a bachelor's degree earn more than over $400,000 more in a lifetime versus others. So those kind of facts and that kind of numbers really makes you want to turn around and think, okay, maybe getting a college degree is important, but being successful in college, taking those opportunities, doing internships, and acquiring those skills. And I really firmly believe that the curriculum is preparing our students, but not only just to getting into college, but retaining and graduating, and that's a key component.
And time is money, and we know that students taking these core courses can go right in and take college level courses
Absolutely.
And earn college credit versus taking, we've all heard, remedial courses.
Exactly.
And that's so students having to take a remedial course in college, and they're paying for it, but they don't get college credit, and that's more time between them.
And our goal is to see them graduate. And there's many different programs out there where students with a strong academic background can graduate in 3 years. Students can complete it in 4 years with a great opportunity to do internships, global experiences, all of that. So, when you have a foundation like this, students are going to be able to maximize all that a college experience has to offer. And it's very critical to their success.
That's great. And so let's talk a little bit about, we were talking before about mentorship and mentoring, and whether that's coming from the colleges or coming from the business leaders. Merrimack High School has been doing a great job. You talked about the chamber getting involved. Can you provide some examples that what's happening in Merrimack for that mentoring?
Sure. We've actually we've actually asked the students the professions they want to hear about. So we're actually bringing the professions to the school. So we've had people in medicine, physical therapy come on one day. The students come for an hour and a half. There are usually not people there who are not interested in this field. They at least want to explore. We've had journalism people. We've had them on Skype, where they're housed in another state. We've had somebody in the hospitality business. Had Fred Lozier and the owner of Swan Chocolates, Teresa Anderson, come and talk about the science of making chocolate or making pastries. Who would have thought? And the students really had their heads filled after that. So those are some examples as to, engineers as well that have come to the school and brought their expertise. And mentorships have grown out of that as well.
So those real life examples that students can hear, how did you get where you are today? What did you have to do, those success stories?
They can ask them firsthand.
Excellent.
And this program really connects students, and that's what we're doing, connecting the curriculum with the experience. That is going to help students decide what they want to do for their future, and you gave a good example of that before with your internship.
Thank you. So let's talk a little bit about, what we talked about, getting them prepared for college, getting them prepared for a career, and talk a little bit about what other recognition do students get. So at the end of the year, we have a State House event where we bring all of our New Hampshire scholars to the State House, and they wear their gold medallion at graduation. So Taylor, as a student, how important is that recognition piece, knowing that, colleges are looking for it, yes, and, you're gaining the skills for business, but how important is that recognition piece of being acknowledged?
Getting acknowledged definitely helps. I mean, it makes you kind of want to take the more rigorous classes. I mean, colleges see them and they're okay with that, but you kind of want to get your name out there to the state and stuff too and say, hey, I did this program, I succeeded, and now look how much better my college and career path is going to be because I took the extra time, I managed my time well, and I'm just on the road to success now because of it.
And in closing, I want to thank all of our guests today, Bill, Diane, and Taylor. Thank you so much for spending the time and sharing your expertise. And I just want to say, for anyone not involved in New Hampshire Scholars, ask your counselors about it, ask your schools, get involved, and visit us on our website, which is nhscholars.org. You can like us on Facebook for more information as well. But for students that want to challenge themselves and get involved in New Hampshire Scholars, it's as easy as taking the pledge and going to see your counselor and say, I want to take these core courses and challenge myself through high school to be better prepared for college and career. So that's our challenge to all our students out there today, and we hope to see you soon. Thanks very much.